Hello, everybody.
Hi, everybody.
Hi, everybody. Hey, I'm here with the Weird Science Comics YouTube channel, and I'm going to be doing Batman number 92 right now, and it is an issue that's written by James Tynion IV with art by Gilliam March. It is leading us towards the Joker War. I have enjoyed James Tynion's run on Batman so far. This issue steps it up a bit. I really, really like this issue. I'm more and more excited for the Joker War the more and more I see and get. So that's good as well. And this issue was obviously going to come out before the whole shutdown, all that stuff. And when you ended up coming back, when we ended up getting the comics back, DC delayed this book coming out still. They wanted more shops open. They wanted more people out and about to get this issue because it is a big issue where you have the first fight, the first face-to-face meeting with Harley Quinn and Punchline. And the funny thing is, when we get to it, it's a little off in my mind. You end up where Harley seems to outshine Punchline in this meeting, in my mind. And that's weird because they're really pushing Punchline. But we'll get to that when we get to that, because we start off the issue with old Cobblepot. Penguin is in the hospital. You can't smoke there. Cobblepot, what is he doing? Well, he doesn't care. He does not care.
I do what I want.
That's what he does. He's there, and he has his lawyer by his one side, and Steven Seagal, it looks, on the other. So that's why he's going to do what he wants, right? And Bullock is telling him, hey, Cobblepot, once you get out of this hospital, you're going right to jail. You killed cops. You're done. Cobblepot kind of turns around and is like, whoa, what are you talking about? I'm the victim here. I'm the one who had problems. I'm the one who was attacked by Deathstroke. I'm going to file a lawsuit against him. Wait till you see what happens. But while they're talking, the city turns green. And Bullock basically is like, really? Like, why am I the commissioner? Why is this?
I should be back in school.
He should be back in school. It's funny because he has done this before where he has stepped up and become commissioner when James Gordon, had been infected. So he's there to help, but it's not him. He wants to be going and buying donuts and sitting around and maybe towing the line between the good and the bad, you know, the little gray area he goes with. This commissioner stuff. It's too much work, but the whole city has turned green. That is because the Riddler is in town, and the Riddler, he wants to have a little game. He wants to play his riddles as he does. And he is going to play a crossword puzzle riddle type game with Batman using the streets and districts of Gotham as the squares. If Batman gets something wrong, you know, like 9 across 3 down, whatever it is, those will blow up. Whatever he messes up will blow up. So Batman has to get everything right. Now, I do like this crossword puzzle deal, and I like, as it's spelled out, that you have Deathstroke just like, this is what happens in this city. This city's nonsense, but it seems fun, and I love the Gilliam March art throughout this. Now, I like it too because it does remind me of something, and it's one of those sometimes when you have a bit in a comic, ooh, that reminds me too much of this other thing, and you're like, that doesn't feel right. This actually feels pretty good. James Tynion is kind of one of Scott Snyder's boys, so it makes sense that during the All-Star Batman run of Scott Snyder, he ended up having a backup called The Cursed Wheel, and in that, the Riddler ended up playing a crossword puzzle, kind of based on an apartment building and just some people with that. And I like the idea that maybe he ended up getting mad that he failed here. He's upping the ante to make it streets now and things like that, but it's still something like that. But I like it. It's not one of those things I'm like, here we go again. I really do like it. Now, while that is going on above ground, underneath in the sewers, you have Harley Quinn and Catwoman, you know, going around. And Selina is looking for something here while Harley ends up wondering why they're not in the superhero sewers. I thought you hero types had different sewers that didn't stink so much and didn't really be like sewers. And Selina's like, no, we have the regular ones. Now, this is funny as it goes forward because you do see that indeed, you know, Batman does have a little different type of things in the sewers, but they are trying to find something. We're not really sure at this point, and they get attacked by zombie cops, zombie GCPD cops that are breathing out that green toxin that really does look like Joker toxin, but we've seen it with the designer as well. One of the big times we saw it was when Selena ended up digging up what she thought was going to be the body of the designer, and it ended up looking like it was the Joker in this coffin, and then this gas came out. Well, Harley just goes to town, and this is the start. And even the bit before where Harley was asking about the sewers, I love Harley, and I know a lot of people are sick of Harley. I am not sick of Harley. I am sick of some of the things Harley's been in, but when you have this here with James Tynion, who is writing an awesome Harley, especially in this issue, I realize I'm not sick of Harley. I don't want her to go. I don't want her to be replaced by Punchline. As we go, you'll see even more here. Well, Batman and Slade, they're fighting through the zombies as well, and they're going to go down the subway. Slade says, "You know where the Riddler is, don't you?" Whatever. No, you know where he is. And Batman does. And so they go down into the sewers, and Batman calls the Bat Train. This is what I was saying, where Harley's like, I thought you guys would have something crazy, whatever. Well, they do. They have the Bat Train that just shows up, and Batman gets in, and he's going to end up trying to solve the whole crossword puzzle without seeing the playing board in the train. This is something where it does get a little wonky, but I think it gets wonky more because we do not see the grid. And I think that was just so James Tynion can kind of go through that riddle and not have us so focused on that. Instead of what's important is that Batman's heading towards getting the Riddler, knows exactly where he is. It does drive the Riddler insane. And at this point, the Riddler seems like he might have been up 17 days straight, doing a lot of meth, maybe doing some blow. I mean, he's having problems. I mean, look at him. All of that bulked up thing. He was on the roids in that Tom King run. He's lost it now. He stopped doing the roids. He started doing meth. This is why. Say no to drugs, kids. You have all that going on. Well, you see where Selena and Harley are down still in the sewers. They're getting beaten up or running from these zombies. And you end up where Selena finds where she has to go. And there's this doorman. She's like, hey, I'm in good standing. Let me in. And it's a really cool concept where there's this underground underbroker, this villain type guy who kind of sets up the deals, kind of sets up things with the criminal underground of Gotham. And I do like this. It's a really cool way to explain how some villains, like a Selena, how she might get some funds or how she might find out about things. Well, they're going in my mind, to rob the crap out of him. They're going to steal the underbroker's money. Well, when they go in, they're not alone. They're actually second in line for that because Punchline has beat them there. And she's pissed. You see the clowns right away. And some people, oh no, the Joker. Well, it is Punchline. She says, I thought we were going to be the only ones. And I love this underbroker who he's there. He's going to take any deal. So the idea, well, you are here, but Selena Kyle showing up, maybe we can kind of work on, a bunch of deals together. Well, you end up seeing Punchline there and says to Harley and Selena, you guys are jokes. I'm the Punchline. This is where I end you. Boobies. Yeah, look at this crazy thing there. So you end up with them coming face to face. And the best part of this is Harley doesn't quite get what's going on. Selena knows already. Selena's just sitting there like she gets it. This is the new gal of the Joker. Harley, who obviously the most famous gal of the Joker in the past, just doesn't get it and thinks that at first that Punchline must be a fan, like in a weird way. Like, you're a fan of mine? No, not a fan. And then like, okay. And then says, I'm the Joker's partner, where Harley's like, you Joker or something? Oh, I'm his partner. And I love Selena gives the like wink, wink, like, yeah, partner. And it finally, the light bulb goes off over Harley and goes, oh boy. And again, this is where I said, this is great Harley. This is so sassy. Good Harley. And Harley and Catwoman combo here, this team up, the way James Tynion, it's great. And I want more of that. So you end up then having Harley pretty much face to face. They're going to fight. Punchline and Harley are going to fight any second now. And Harley outdoes Punchline every step of the way. And if you're trying to use this issue to show me why Punchline's better, it's a failure. If you're showing me that Harley's better and then later something bad's going to happen to Harley, then I get it. But you end up Harley like, well, are you funny? You don't sound funny. And then Punchline says, you know what's going to be funny? What I do with your skin. I'm like, she gonna make a skin suit. That ain't funny. And so I'm like, I want Harley back. I don't want this Punchline. And then the kicker where Harley realizes finally what's really, really going down. And also, here's what happens. Yeah, I know what happens. And if you want to go with the New 52 deal, which is still in this continuity, Harley's a book, though, and a character that really skirts up and down, ping-pongs around any sort of continuity. But in the New 52, we did find out that Harley was just in the line of a lot of Harleys. She was just the next Harley Quinn the Joker had set up. So I like this idea where Harley, now she's out of that game. They're not going to pull her back in. She's out and realizes, and then can say to Punchline, listen, you know, honey, a few years from now, after you have a couple dozen come to God moments and do some good long cries in the shower, I'm going to buy you a frozen margarita and we're going to chat girl to girl. And it's a really great line. And it actually, in that, shows you the heart of Harley and why I do love Harley. And a Harley that is better now without the Joker, things like that, has learned. But that all leads to basically, but right now we're going to fight. And they just start slugging it out. Well, while that's going on, the underbroker's like, woo, 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 woo. He's trying to get out. And Selena realizes this, grabs him with the whip, pulls him in, and then basically blackmails him and says, I know everything about you, and then goes down the laundry list of everything. I mean, you want a stolen identity deal? This is it. She knows everything. And make sure to tell the underbroker the exact things that would show that she is a complete threat to everything that he has, making him then have to just play along with her. And I'm going to make you very, very rich. And whether this is part of the original designer's plan, probably is. It's probably a little bit back about. It feels also to me as if Catwoman is trying to get some funds on the side so then when the designer, if it is the Joker, who I do think, or whatever, ends up getting all of Bruce's funds, we have these backup ones by the end. But we'll have to see how that goes. In the meantime, the issue does end with Batman. He's smart. I don't know if you realize this. He knows things. He ends up realizing where Eddie was and does the old Batman. It's almost like the reverse Gordon. Instead of Gordon turning around and Batman's disappeared, Riddler, he just comes up behind him to greet him. And he's like, hey, Eddie, I hear you. Because you end up having Riddler just screaming, I'm superior. I'm going to show him. Do you hear me? And he's like, I'm right behind you, pal. I'm right here.
Check yourself.
So, yeah, you end up where he says, the game's over. You're going to go to Arkham, but you're going to get to rest. You rest your mind a little. And this is where you kind of realize, especially that this hasn't been something that the Riddler has wanted to do himself. He's been put up to do this by the designer. He seems, like I said, he might be giving him the meth, the blow, the crank. Who knows? But he's been up a long time. He does need a rest. And when Batman says, you're going to get to rest your mind, Riddler says, oh, that sounds good. He just wants out. He just wants out. And I think that's good play from the beginning, where you end up Penguin saying, oh, Eddie, what have you getting yourself into? Because it isn't something that should be done at that point and things like that. So I do think that the Riddler was just kind of used and made to do this. Now, the whole thing was this ploy. Let's try to get Batman here. We can't be really out in the open, but we have to do it in the Wayne, all these ways, the Wayne Enterprise building deal so that Batman does see where it is and goes to it, all that stuff, because it is the designer waiting for him. And just says, hello, Bruce, please come in. We should talk a little before I kill you. He has the picture of Alfred there. Really, you end up having the dead people in Bruce's life right there. Pretty vicious there. And yeah, he looks ridiculous. That whole look. It's Craven with Macklemore's thrift store deal. Also, Mr. T's necklaces. What else do you need? He's got pirate boots, camo pants. Jesus, he's got Sergeant Pepper's medals. Really, I do think it's Paul McCartney. That's what I'm getting at. This is definitely Paul McCartney, Sir Paul. But yeah, I still think it's the Joker. I think he's playing this whole game to get that money and end up going against Bruce/Batman in the Joker War. But boy, this was a good issue. And Gilliam March's art, I love Gilliam March. I think that he is a great artist. Hasn't been exactly on a couple things leading up to this. Now, I still love him. This, though, is awesome. This is the Gilliam March I know, love, and want more and more of. And this is the James Tynion I want more and more of. I think that James Tynion might be the best writer at DC right now. And it's just from these past couple issues that are leading to the Joker War. This is really intriguing. This is really building up. It's one of the few events in my mind that have been set up well. And the whole deal is building. There's tension building, excitement building. I think it's great. I'm actually going to go a 9 out of 10 here. I ended up on the podcast saying it was an 8.5. I think every time I read it, I like it better. So maybe I'll re-record this. We'll have a 9.5. We'll get to a 10 eventually, right? That's how we work. All right. But that is the deal. And yeah, I am really, really looking forward to the Joker War as we go on. And I hope that everybody else is as well, because I think it's going to be something that's going to be really, really cool. But thanks, everybody. Thanks for listening to this video. If you liked it and you want to subscribe, like the video. Look at all of the links below so that you can go and listen to all our podcasts. Go to our website, see reviews and all that jazz. We have a DC and a Marvel podcast website, all that. We also have a Patreon account where you can go and support us for all this at patreon.com/weirdscience and get a lot of shows in return. More of a podcasting shows at this point. But now that I've done more videos, I think I'm going to up the ante with those there as well. But thanks, everybody. And I will talk to you soon.